Hello and welcome to a Jukola training in Pökkelönperä. It's a long training, but after this video I'm sure you will be more ready for the Vuokatti-Jukola. It's a nice terrain, some nice detailed areas on top of the hills and also some really hard controls at some slopes with not so many details. For example, this first slope here that I'm running in now is really hard one, and control number 16 is especially hard control. You will see it. So you will see it 1 hour and 15 minutes later, but first you will have to watch through all of the other controls. To the first control there is no other option than to go straight to the path and then use the path for a while, either for a short while or a longer while, and I thought it's better to use it for a longer while because the terrain here is quite hard and slow, so paths are quite useful sometimes. And in the beginning it was only about compass work because this slope, as I said, is really hard. I tried to read some contours here, but I didn't understand anything, so I just continued because I knew that I will hit the path anyway, so it doesn't really matter how exact I am here. And it's better to be too much to the right than too much to the left to avoid running next to the path to the same direction, but I was maybe a bit too much on the right here compared to the optimal route, but not too much. Quite okay result in a direction, in a compass direction. And here I made small 5-second mistake. I started to go around these trees in front of me from the right side, even though I was going to continue the path to the left, so I don't know what I was thinking here. I should have went just through the trees or go around them from the left side, but that was not a big mistake. Things are going very well if you can call things like that mistakes, and I don't think I can call this a mistake. I do much worse things in orienteering than this one. I could run quite relaxed on this path because I knew that I will see the curve of the path anyway, so that's where I need to go to the forest again, so I didn't need to think about much else. I tried to see the cliff on the right and the hill on the left, but here I could see that the path is turning, so I need to turn also. The plan was to follow those cliffs to the first control, run in the re-entrant on the left side of the cliffs, and that would be quite simple way to find the control, but the plan is sometimes a bit different than the execution, and this was an example of that. When I was climbing here, I thought I'm coming really close to the cliffs where I needed to go, and actually I thought that the cliff in front of me would be one of those cliffs on the right side of the small re-entrant, and that the small re-entrant is there to the left, but I don't know how I didn't figure it out at this point that the re-entrant on the left is much bigger than it should be. Maybe because I thought that these things here are also cliffs that are on the map, but they were not. And also that one on the upper right corner of your screen now. So as you can see, I was too much to the left and I didn't realize that I'm next to the big re-entrant on the left until I came somewhere around here. I started to think a bit more with my brain and realized where I actually am. And then it was easy to make the correction to the control. Quite annoying start to the training. It was not the biggest mistake, but still it's always annoying to make a mistake to the first control. But the good thing about that is that usually it makes the concentration a bit better for the controls that are coming. So hopefully I can do better at the next controls, especially the next control, because it's one of those really hard controls in a slope where there is almost nothing to read. As you can see now, it's in an empty slope. The only thing that may be helpful is that there is that flat area just before the control circle, and I should be able to recognize that. Let's see. But anyways, I need to be really sharp with my direction to hit the right flat area and to be able to use all of the details that are on the map. The beginning was easy. I could just aim for this corner of the hill. So now I'm exactly on the map. And then I'm looking for the bedrock, really small bedrock areas, and some, I think they are also really small spurs, so small that they are not always even mapped. And there is the first bedrock on the right, and soon I will see also those next bedrocks. Those were really helpful, and they were actually surprisingly easy to see in the terrain, even though they were really small on the map. But there must have been a reason why they were mapped, and the reason was that they were quite obvious in the terrain. But now when I had seen the bedrocks, I could just start going down in the hill, because I knew that now I will hit the flat area for sure, and maybe I will have a chance to find my control. There is the flat area. As you can see, it's really clear that it's the right place, and now I can just continue going straight. But I was looking around me all the time to see if I can see anything recognizable on the map or even the control. I was scanning right and left, and there is the control. So I was very happy to find this after the mistake to the first control, and this was much more difficult control, I think. The third one is not so difficult because it's just under the steep hill and before the open area, so there is no way to miss it by much. So if I just take decent direction towards the control, I should be able to find it quite well. I can already see the open area behind the control, and also I can see where the steep hill starts, so it's quite easy to go towards the control based on those. And also there was some slight track on the ground from the people who have been training here before me. So that helped a bit also, or actually quite a lot. Then back up to the hill. And the plan was to just take good direction here and then try to see the stones and the ant homes. I should check what those are actually in English. But anyways, those stones at least. And then hopefully the bedrock, small bedrock area just before the control. I just checked that ant homes are actually ant hills in English, so now I know how to talk about them, so you will probably understand. And there is the first stone on the left, so that was nice to see. I was exactly where I need to be, but for some reason my direction started to swing a little bit to the left here, so that's why I never saw the anthill on the right. I was trying to look for it and didn't see it. Maybe it was somewhere behind some trees or something, but yeah, no luck with that. But luckily I saw that stone after that, and then I saw an extra anthill there on the right after the stone, so I started to be a little worried if those are mapped very correctly here, because I didn't see the one that I wanted to see and then saw one extra, so I don't know, maybe they were correctly mapped, but I just didn't see the one and that other one was too small. But anyways, after that I didn't really trust those anymore during this Jukola camp. And I thought the control should be around here, and there it was. I was very close to the control but didn't see the flag instantly, but saw it in the end and things were going well after the first mistake. And this is the first real longer route choice leg of the training. Quite nice one. I saw that there is a big hill before the control and I can avoid it by going to the track on the right. So I decided to do that, especially with my strengths in flat running. It's usually good to take those longer and flatter routes, even though someone else would be faster going straight. And I wanted to be quite sharp here in the beginning to not get any extra climbing or extra meters, so I tried to be on the map all the time. And this was first important thing. I saw this wet re-entrant, and it was very obvious, so I knew that if I just continue down from here I should see the long form line knoll there in front of me, and I could see it already. You can see it also soon. There it is. So then the next plan was to go to the left end of the knoll and go down to the re-entrant and just continue to the yellow track from there. So now it's quite simple orienteering until the fifth control. It would have been much more demanding orienteering on the straight route choice, so it's usually good to take these longer routes that use some paths or tracks or roads, also because it minimizes the risk of a mistake. So even though the optimal route would be to go straight, the risk of mistake is also bigger there, so at least in relays I would always take this route choice. I will show you the route choice answers at the end of the leg, so I won't spoil you how the rest of the leg went, but you will see then where the fastest route was. Here is the track as it should be, and then it's just trail running almost until the control, and also the control picking should be quite easy because I can just follow the edge of the hill until the control. So I used this time well, and I prepared my route choice for the next long leg. You can see it crossing this leg from the, I think, 9th control to the 10th maybe, or 8th to 9th control. And that is another really nice route choice leg. You will see it later, but I already saw it from my map because I had it in my hands and decided my route choice. So I could concentrate on execution on those next quite tricky legs. 6, 7 and 8 were quite nice orienteering in slopes where there are not much details. But at this point I will give you a reminder or a new information that next time when you need to buy some new orienteering clothing or orienteering shoes, you can use my code Otto15 to get some discount from No Name Clothing and Varku Shoes from No Name's web shop. I will have a link there in my video description, and at the same time you will support my channel. So thank you if you use that code or if you have already done it. And I hope you have found some value for yourself with the discount from nice gear. Thank you, No Name and Varku. And back to orienteering. I was not reading the map very carefully here. I thought that I will just run here for a while and get back to the map later, because I will have to run here for such a long time, so I don't have to be exactly on the map all the time. So when the track starts to make some turns, I will get back on the map. And here I actually was waking up a bit, and I think I saw the big re-entrant on the left and also this turn here. So I was pretty sure that I should be here. So from now on I was back reading the map. I checked left, and also I saw the Mars down in this re-entrant. So here I was 100% sure where I am, so I was ready to start the approach to the control. It's quite nice in these long distance type courses that there are places where you can relax for a while and then concentrate again when it's needed, because it's quite hard for people nowadays to concentrate for 1.5 hours straight after watching TikToks so much. So I think watching these long orienteering videos is very good for you compared to only watching TikTok. So keep watching these. Thank you. Now I needed to get to the forest. The running gets little harder, and I also need to concentrate a bit more again. But it was quite easy to just follow this edge of the hill, and I was waiting to see the cliff on this contour or the control cliff. I didn't really care which one I will see, but I was ready for both. but I was quite sure I will see either some of them. And there is the first cliff. So I knew that I need to start climbing a bit, get one contour upwards in the hill. There is the flag, so I will show you the route choices. I use the handicap feature of the live logs analysis, so it's nice to see how the route choices compare, even though the people have been running different paces. So as you can see, the fastest guys were running straight, but also some red routes on the straight variant, so my orange route from the tracks was quite okay. I didn't lose much and it was a safe one, so I'm still happy about my route choice. And for me, I think it was also faster. I would be so slow in those hills. And this is a really nice short leg. I took good direction from the control, and also small track on the ground helped with that. And then I could see this top of the hill on my right. And I decided to go a bit around it to avoid some climbing, and I would also see the ant hill there up on the hill, so I maybe regained some trust in ant hills in these terrains. And also the control is an ant hill, but I thought I will try to see the spur before it to make sure I will find it. But actually I could see the anthill and the control flag much before I could see this small spur before the control, so that was surprisingly easy. Then a leg which looks very easy because the control is next to a distinct green area, but the problem was that maybe I thought this control is so easy that my concentration to the basic orienteering was not the best here. I was going quite much left and right during this whole leg. At the beginning I tried to go as straight as possible, but then I came too much to the right here, but I realized it here. I saw this big knoll and the stone, so I saw that I need to correct a bit to the left. But then I made maybe too much correction. So I came to this bedrock knoll and realized again that now I maybe corrected a bit too much to the left, so I need to correct again to go straight for the rest of the leg. But I don't know how straight I managed to go, because then I found an old forest machine track here soon. Not yet, but it will come here behind these next trees. Yeah, here is the old forest machine track that was not on the map because it was so old and weak. So I went a bit more to the right following this because it was so nice to run here, but then I saw the control flag on the left, so I needed to leave the track and go to the control, so not the most optimal leg. I think I lost quite much time here compared to those who were going more straightforward, but not any real mistakes, so no reason to be too sad about this leg. And this 8 control was maybe one of the trickiest of the whole course. There is nothing to read on this leg basically. I could follow the open area on the left in theory and attack the control from there, but I didn't want to do it because I would need to first climb a bit here and then go down again. I didn't realize that I need to do it anyways when I go straight. So I think that would have been quite good and safe option to go to the edge of the open area and go to the control from there, but I tried to go straight. I thought that maybe I can see the stone on the right or the cliff on the right and then those two cliffs before the control. But you will see if I could see any of those. I just tried to use my compass and also follow the contours here, stay on the same level as well as possible. Then I felt like I might be too much on the right, so I checked right if I can see the single stone there, but I didn't see it. It was too far away, so I thought that maybe I'm not that much on the right, even though I was a bit too much on the right. Then I thought I will just go down from here and check right if I can see the cliff. Check left first and then checked right and realized that this whole edge of the marsh is full of cliffs, so that cliff on the map didn't help anything. I actually jumped down the cliff based on GPS, but I didn't feel like that, so that was maybe a bit pointless on the map. I think it wasn't any different compared to any other place on that same contour. So I wasn't very sure where I was. I just had no other option than to start climbing up and hope that I can see those cliffs before the control, or maybe I can see the flat area above the control, or anything that I can use to find it. Then I thought I saw the first cliff there on the right, and then I also saw the other one above it, so I was pretty sure these two were the cliffs that were on the map, but as you can see from the GPS they were not. So my plan was to just go to the control from here. It should be like half a contour above that second cliff, so it should be around this level in front of me, but didn't see any control there. Instead saw the control much more down than I had expected. So I was quite happy to find the control, even though I didn't find the right cliffs at all. Then you can see the longer leg that I was planning on the previous long leg. And again, I wanted to avoid this same big hill. But when I look at this again, I don't think it was much climbing to save here. It was only like 2 contours or 3 contours of saved climbing when I went around, and it was quite significant amount of extra distance, so I think it would have been quite good to go straight, but for me these flatter and longer and faster options are always a bit better than for some other orienteers, so maybe it was not that bad route choice. It was nice to be back on this familiar track, but soon I need to leave it and go to some unknown territory. the plan for the rest of the leg was to follow the path from the corner of the open area and then follow the marsh and then go to the right edge of the second open area and go straight to the control from there. And finding the end of this next path was quite easy because it was starting from the corner of the open area, so I could see it from far away by just looking up to the trees. And it was surprisingly nice to run on this cut open area. I was a bit afraid that it would be bad, but it was not. It was really good. Then some path running before it will be quite long way before I can run on a path again in this course. This was not very strong path, so I needed to concentrate a bit to stay on track, but it was possible to follow it. But I think if I was going over it, it would have been quite hard to see. I was really hoping that the marsh is good, because that was part of my planning, that it should be quite fast to run because it's flat. At least in these terrains, those flat marshes are sometimes really fast compared to the terrain around them, and I think this was not an exception. It was a bit scary here in the beginning. It looked a bit worse than it was going to be after this first dense area here. Now it started to be really good and fast. And I didn't need any compass here because I could just follow these ditches, and the plan was to go until the corner and then go between those hills towards the open area. And I didn't want to go out of the marsh too early because I thought it's faster to run down here, so no need to go to the right too early. But I think I went to the basic forest a bit too early here. I should have continued for like 20 more meters. But for some reasons I didn't have the patience to do so, and it was a bit slower here in the white forest than it was on the marsh. Not a big mistake, but a stupid one. I should have just followed my plan. This gap between the hills was very obvious, as it should be. And this gave me a good direction towards the corner of the open area. Maybe I followed this re-entrant for a bit too long, so I almost crashed to this open area, and I needed to check if I can cut this corner here or if I need to go around, and it looks to be quite bad, so I will go around. The edge of the open area is looking so nice that it's better to just take some extra meters and keep the speed high, or not very high, because this was easy training, but higher than it would be there on the left. And after this open area is ending, then the rest of the leg is bit more demanding orienteering than the beginning of the leg, so that's nice. There was quite much details to read here, but they need some more work than things like tracks and open areas and flat marshes do. The first plan was to go somewhere around the forum line re-entrant on the right side of those two knolls with some cliffs, because that would be quite exactly on the straight line towards the control, and the plan was to go rest of the leg as straight as possible. And it's impossible to go to the left side of this re-entrant without seeing those two knolls, so I think here in the beginning it would be better to go bit to the left side than too much to the right side. This re-entrant was actually very easy to see in the terrain, so nice job by the map maker to draw this on the map even though normal contour lines didn't cover it. That's right kind of use of form lines. And then I could see the stone in front of me. And the knoll on the left, so still on the map. And it was quite nice runnability here. So it was nice to run down this hill. But the runnability will get worse soon, because there will be quite bad marsh down there. I didn't even see it when I was orienteering, but there is also some green color combined with the marsh, so this was not as good as the previous marsh. But luckily I found some way here between these bushes, so didn't get stuck for too long, or didn't need to go around too much. Sometimes nice to have some luck in orienteering. The next main goal was to just run to the highest point of this big hill, but on my way there I of course used some details of the map to keep my direction good. For example, the big marsh on the left was something that I imagined I would see quite easily, and also these two hills, one on the left and one on the right, were quite obvious, and for some reason I went bit to the left here, for no reason actually, but doesn't really matter. I'm still on the right side of the marsh, so that's the main thing. And it wasn't that big extra. As you can see from the GPS track, it was just a small curve in my GPS. Then I could see the two stones on the right and the knoll, so I knew exactly where I am. It's nice to be precisely on the map this close to the control, especially because this control should be such a simple one that if I'm just exactly on the map at this point, I should be able to find the control. I didn't even look that much at my compass anymore, because I can just go straight towards the highest point of the hill, and that should be precise enough. There is also a big stone next to the control, so I thought that maybe I can see that stone before I can see the small knoll. And now I can already see the big stone. And now I can see the control flag, so I was right about that. And there are the route choices again with the handicap feature, and straight was again the fastest, but quite many orange routes on the left route choice, at least 2, so that was also quite good, because it was such a simple route choice, so I'm again happy about my route choice. And this leg was something I don't really want to see again. I already looked at this video once when I was doing the Finnish commentary, and I already felt bad back then. But let's see if we can learn something now. I could see the big stone on my right, that was very obvious, and then I could see the small stone on the left, so at this point I was going as straight as it's even possible, and then something weird happened. My direction started to go way too much to the left. Maybe I didn't check the compass, or I didn't check it carefully enough. I don't know what happened, but my perfect direction disappeared somewhere to the left. But this was not a problem yet. I can get myself back on the map at the Mars, and the real tricky orienteering on this leg starts after that anyways. I was still going way too much to the left, but then I could see the big stone on my right and realized that I'm a bit too much on the left, but nothing too critical. I can correct this quite easily. The most important thing is that I know exactly where I am when I go to that detailed area, because those contour features are so small that they are probably quite hard to see if I don't know exactly where I am. My next goal was to see the small knoll, the dot knoll in front of me, but I never saw it. I think it might be this one or that one. I don't know. Maybe based on GPS it shouldn't be that one on the left. So I don't know what was the knoll in reality, but then I felt like this is such open area that I thought I would be maybe on the open area on the right, but then it didn't feel like that. And I don't know. Still the same problem as with the Finnish commentary, because I don't even know what I was thinking. I only know that everything didn't look like they should be looking like, so that's a big problem. And when stuff like that happens, the worst thing that you can do is also forget looking at the compass, and I also did that, so now I'm not in the right place at all. I thought I should find the control somewhere around here, but didn't find it, so I realized that now I have made a mistake, because I already knew when I was approaching the control that something is off, and didn't find the flag, so something was off for real. I was standing here for a while, based on the tail, maybe for about half a minute. Hopefully not more. maybe even more than half a minute, and then I think I figured out roughly where I am and started going where I thought the control should be. I don't think I still knew my exact location, but maybe after I saw this cliff, I knew where I was, or I thought I knew. But I didn't really realize how much I need to climb still to get to the control. I thought the control should be around here. It wasn't, so quite bad feeling about this control again. But then I saw the real control placement. It was just quite hard to get up there with all of these fallen trees and normal trees and all of the climbing. But yeah, that was maybe, I don't know, 2-minute mistake. Not optimal, but I got some motivation from the mistake and I wanted to enjoy these really detailed areas by nailing the controls well, because it's so nice to find control smoothly in areas like this. So I wanted to feel that feeling on the next controls. And to do that I need to be sharper. This gap between those two hills was very obvious and quite okay to run in. Maybe not as good as it would be a bit more to the left or to the right, but not too bad. Then I needed to go a bit more to the left when I got out of that small ditch, and there is the next small highest point in front of me, and I didn't want to go down to the steep slope too early because I thought that it's so much faster to run up here, but the control would be so much easier to see from below, so I need to hit the control quite well to be able to see it from above. And I was precise enough with my compass there, and I hit the control perfectly, so I got a nice feeling back after the big mistake to the 10th control. Jump down already, please. It's not that scary. Thank you. When I saw this leg, I instantly saw the open marsh, and I thought that it should be quite nice to run, so I will try to go there. And I think it was the perfect decision because it was so good to run. It was completely flat and not very wet, and quite many other orienteers had the same plan because there was some track here already, and it was also really beautiful here. So maybe I will take my thumbnail of the video from here actually. The whole training was not like this, but it's not clickbait if this actually was in the video, so yeah, I think the thumbnail will be from here. But as soon as the marsh ends, the runnability will get a bit worse again. These terrains are like this. Maybe looks from the video that it would be very fast and easy to run, but it's actually quite tough. You need to come here and experience it if you don't believe me, but I have given you a warning that it will be really tough to run in the Jukola next year. These are really nice terrains, like orienteering wise, but you need some good fitness and good forest running skills to go fast. I was just following this re-entrant to this flat area, and the next goal was to go to the small knolls at the other end of the flat area, but again my compass work was not on point here, and I started to go too much to the left. I saw the bare rock knoll in front of me, and I thought it's the one on the right side of the line, but then I looked left and saw that the hill is starting quite early on the left, and I don't see things that I should see there if that was the knoll that I thought it would be, and then I realized that I'm a bit too much to the left, and here is the re-entrant where I want to go. And this re-entrant basically feeds me to the control, so that should be quite helpful. This control didn't look very easy, but I had good confidence that I can find it if I just use this direction that this re-entrant gives me, and then those cliffs after the control will stop me if I go past the stone. They don't help me find the control if everything goes smoothly, but if I start to make a mistake, they will save me from a bigger mistake. There is the flag. It was luckily visible from quite far away, so no problems here. And the next leg is maybe the most critical route choice leg of the training. It doesn't look like that, but it was quite significant differences in the route choice. I thought that there is no reason to go around anywhere, so I just started to go straight. Didn't even think about anything else, because didn't see any reason to do so. At this point I was just following the contour lines and trying to find some nice runnable ways to go forward. It was quite hard here. It was a steep and stony slope, so it would be quite much faster to run a bit more up on the hill. There is the big yellow re-entrant in front of me, so after that just one small climb, and then I can start going down to the marsh. And that descent is like, you will see, it's slow, at least for me. I can imagine some good forest runner would go down this slope much faster, but for me it was quite tricky, because I wanted to keep my legs in one piece. This is real extreme sports. So as you can see, the GPS tail is getting shorter and shorter. So if I was on the left route choice, I would be quite far already, but I didn't even realize it would be an option. So here I am stuck in the steep slope, and for some reason I didn't even go straight down to the marsh here, but I stayed stayed in this slope for a bit too long, because I have to go completely down anyways at some point. It would have been quite clever to do it already earlier. And finally I will get down, so based on the GPS data, I have spent the last minute running in the slope instead of just coming down instantly, and this running down here was so much better. The next plan was to find the edge of the dark green area and start climbing the hill from there to know exactly where I start the climb. The control looks quite simple because it's right next to the highest point of that small flatter area next to the bigger hill, and now I will need to climb for like bit over 50 meters. So this will be a long climb. The tail is getting shorter soon again. There is no way to go around the big hill after the 30th control either, so the only option is to just climb up to the hill. I use this small yellow area here to my advantage, and then I just continued to climb towards the control. Just going straight up the hill, so quite simple and boring orienteering, because pace is so slow and the orienteering task here was so easy that the only tricky orienteering tasks on this leg were this beginning of the leg and the route choice. And the route choice was so decisive that it was very nice leg by the course setter. It's starting to get a bit flatter here, so I'm getting near the control, but still like 5 meters of climbing left. That's not much. I could see the 2 stones at the highest point from here, so I knew that this is the highest point. Now I can just turn a bit to the left to not climb all the way there. Avoided like half meter of climbing, so I think that was worth it. But this control was a bit more down than I was expecting, so luckily I realized that. And there is the handicapped version of the leg analysis, and those bright green tracks have both went around the big marsh and tree entrance, so I think that was mainly because the downhill to the marsh was so slow, and also I think it saved some climbing, at least the steep climbing. And I don't remember exactly what the difference was between the route choices, but I think it was at least as much as it was on those previous much longer legs. And still I need to continue the climbing, but it will be like this in Jukola as well. It's quite a big hill next to the competition center, so it's nice to prepare for some long climbs. I didn't read the map much here because I thought that it's easier to read the map up on the hill. Because these stones on the slope are not the most secure features on the map. So there will be that long Mars re-entrant at least on the top of the hill, and I will most likely see at least that. But at this point I was just continuing with my compass, and I was pretty sure about my location, but still I was more relying on my compass, and I don't know why I started to turn maybe a bit too much to right here, but then I realized that when I saw the knoll in front of me and the cliff and the stone on the left side, and at this place I was finally completely sure where I was. And the next plan was to just go to the other side of the Mars. I don't know why I didn't use the Mars for some speed up, because I think this Mars would have been also quite okay to run. I don't know. Let's see how it looks like. Or not that good actually, so I think it was good to go to the other side of the Mars, and it was quite nice to run here. And the next plan was to just go straight down until the knolls, and then when I see the knolls I can turn left and attack the control. But when I see the knolls I have basically found the control already. And there is the first knoll, so I turned left. And then I also saw the small knoll, and the control will be behind that. There is the flag. The plan for the next short leg was to just stay on the same level, climb a bit, and see the re-entrant with the two cliffs, and then just climb a bit more, or basically just climb up from the re-entrant and then stay on the same level until the control. And there you can see the re-entrant. It was very clear. Also these cliffs were very clear, and then I just climbed up this one contour, and then when I was here I thought I should be on the same level as the control, so I can just follow on the same level and I should hit the control. There was no real reading on the map before the control, so I just tried to be as precise as possible with following on the same level to not miss the control. And I think my GPS track is following the contour line quite perfectly, but the problem is that I was all the time a bit too low, so I almost went past the control, but then I saw the flag above, because I thought I should be arriving at the control at this point. And now this is the leg where I made maybe one of the biggest, or for sure one of the biggest mistakes that you have ever seen on my YouTube channel. At least I don't remember any bigger mistakes. There might be some, but I don't remember. The root choice on this leg was like quite equal, so I think for me it was good to go to the big track. But there was no real reason to go around. It was also fast to go straight, and I think finding the control would have been much easier from the straight route choice if that one highest point with the small knoll was very well visible. It would be quite helpful. attack point to the control, but from this side there is no real clear attack points to the control, and you will see what it means soon. I think from this point I should have went just straight down to the path, but for some reason I went too much to the left and spent a bit too much time in this quite stony forest. So it would have been maybe like 5 seconds faster to go to the track more straight, but no big problems. I hit this turn of the path quite well, so that's good. And while you are waiting for the big mistake, you should pause the video and go to Otto's shop and order the orienteering quiz and play it with your clubmates the next time you are driving to some competitions, and see who knows the most about orienteering from your orienteering friends. But now when you have paused the video and ordered the game, we can continue orienteering towards the 16th control, and it will take some time before we will arrive to that control. This is another control where doing the commentary is quite hard, because I really don't know what I was thinking there, because I was completely lost. I think I should have remembered from the first leg that this slope where the control is very, very hard to handle. Like, I didn't understand any of the contours going to the first control, and yeah, that if I had just remembered that, I think I would have taken this control more carefully. I don't know what would have been a good way to do it. Maybe just go to the highest point of the hill and take the control from there, but didn't do it. Or maybe I should have even went to the start point again using this path, and I don't know if that would have helped anything, but now the plan was to find the vegetation boundary and follow it until the end and just continue from there. But now, when I have thought about this leg for quite many times, I think the main problem was that my sense of direction and time was completely off. Because around here I was already thinking that I would be at the end of the vegetation boundary. I saw it all the time on my right, but I for some reason thought that I had been climbing up the hill for so long that I'm at the end of it already. And when I was in the end of the vegetation boundary for real, here I thought that I would be already much closer to the control, and also I thought for some reason that my control should be already around here, and I don't know. Maybe it's better that I don't talk much here. You can just follow me running around, because I don't really have anything to say. And don't worry, after this control there will be some more successful orienteering left, so if you get triggered by mistakes, you can just skip this one and continue after the 16th control. Sorry for that if that was hard to watch, but I finally found the control. Accidentally, I still didn't have any clue where I was, but there was the control, so that was good. And then towards the 70th control, let's see if I will find that any better. At least there is some more things on the map to read on the way there, so that might help something. The first plan was to just go straight to the Mars and locate myself exactly on the map at the other side of the Mars with those cliffs and re-entrance. But in this beginning part I could just follow some nice ways where it's good to run, and I think I was maybe following the terrain a bit too much here because I went went maybe a bit too much to the right. But yeah, this downhill felt like a long time, because when I was trying to find the 16th control, I was already thinking about just going back to the car and going to change some dry clothing and to eat some food, but then I saw how nice this end of the course looks like, so I wanted to go do the full course anyways, even though it had been a really long training. But this green downhill was maybe not the highlight of the rest of the course, so I was really waiting for this green area to end and to get back to those nice detailed hills. And I came to this wrong side of this green area on the marsh, so that was maybe not optimal, so it would have been a bit faster to come straight here, but plan was to take it quite relaxed and just make sure I will hit the marsh, so yeah, I followed the plan. And I could locate myself here because I saw the cliffs on the left, and also this small re-entrant here in front of me was very clear. So I was planning to just climb up here above the re-entrant, and then I can follow the same level until the control. And I could also see the cliff above on the left and also the cliff below on the right, so I knew that I'm exactly on the contour where I need to be, and now I will just have to keep my level, and I will probably safely hit my control that way. The control stone was not very high from this side, but luckily I had nice control of my elevation, so I found the control exactly how I wanted. This stone was much better visible from the other side, so that was nice trick by the course setter and the person who put out the controls. And for this leg, I just started to follow this re-entrant and then just try to follow the flat area between the hill on the right and the many knolls on the left. But this re-entrant in the beginning was quite important to get the right direction from the control. And if I'm swearing something here soon, it's because I think I got bitten by some bug or something. It was really painful. I think it was even more painful than getting bitten by a bee or something like that. So I don't know what kind of bug it was, but yeah, I was quite confused. How did I get hurt so much? And I was checking my arm if I can see anything there. And I didn't see anything yet, but after some time after the training, it was quite red from around that place, so it has to be some kind of bug that bit me. But then I needed to get back the concentration to orienteering, but it was luckily easy because I had been following the flat area and the bare rock, really small bare rock. I bet you can't even see it on your screen on the map. It was clear on the left, and also this knoll, and the plan was to just go down to this re-entrant after the knoll and then hopefully see the flag or the cliff, and there is the flag and also the cliff. And still checking my arm because it was so painful still. So yeah, this was not the most fun I have had while orienteering. I had already spent over an hour in the forest in rain. It was quite cold and I had done some big mistakes and also got bitten by some bug. So luckily the terrain was quite nice, so I could still enjoy this a bit, and you don't always have to enjoy every training, but all in all this training camp in Vuokatti was really enjoyable because of the really nice terrains. Still some more videos from these training terrains coming, at least 2 after this one. And one of them was a real highlight of the training camp, so keep looking forward to that. On this leg, I just used my compass to go out from the control, and then I saw this big hill here on the right, but yeah, the control picking was not the easiest one. The plan was to just see the bedrock knoll on the left and then follow the re-entrant down, and I thought that if I just follow the re-entrant and keep looking left, I will see my cliff. But it didn't happen so. And now, because I learned maybe something from this, I think if I would do this leg again, I would go to the knoll on the left and then continue to the stone above my control and attack the control from that stone, and then I would have basically no way to miss the control. But now the cliff was surprisingly far away from this re-entrant, and I think I didn't watch left at the right time. I went way too down here and made a mistake again. Quite many mistakes in this training, and because of those mistakes the battery of my camera will die before the last control, so sorry for that. The options would have been to avoid the mistakes or film the video in some lower resolution to save some battery, but yeah, I didn't plan the mistakes. I didn't think this training would take so long. Yeah, there is the control. The last control you will see in this video, and my plan for the last control was to just use my compass because this was the same slope where I didn't understand anything from the map, and I actually went a bit too much to the left. I could correct it because I saw the field behind the control. I almost went to the left corner of the field, but that was one of the smallest mistakes of this training, so it didn't matter this much. But if you have watched this video until this point, I really appreciate you, because I have been recording this video for almost 3 hours in total, so I really hope you enjoyed this video and got some help for preparing towards Vuokatti-Jukola. So please, if you still haven't subscribed to my channel, do so now, and if you have subscribed or not, please like this video, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.